Raksha, one of our co-founders of the community, super passionate about hiking and traveling. A lot and lot to learn from Raksha. And without a further ado, once again, let's please welcome Raksha. And we're good to start.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, first of all, sorry because of that to and fro thing. It was all my mistake. Actually, I miscalculated and I was in Himachal for Rupin Pass, and I did not realize when I was coming back. I actually thought I was coming back on 6th, whereas it was 7th. But anyway, long story short, anyway, the trip also got shortened because of the bad weather and we had to cut short the trek. So yeah, here we are. And today Arush was supposed to take our session. But unfortunately, because of some emergency, he had to cancel the session. So I'll be stepping in on his behalf to do a session about acute mountaineering sickness. Okay. So as you guys saw, like I see some of them are very new and they've come through Instagram, actually, not from our community itself. So just want to introduce myself. My name is Raksha Nagaraj and I am very passionate about trekking and hiking, and I've been doing it from 2009. So I've been trekking quite a lot, and I come to the Himalayas at least 3 or 4 times a year. And yeah, Vijay and I, who is also on the call, we both did Everest Base Camp and Inca Trail to Machu Picchu. And I have done Kashmir Great Lakes and also North Africa's tallest mountain, which is Mount Tukul. So we've done quite a lot of treks. I've also led some of the treks in Sydney and here as well. And also I'm a co-founder of this trekking community that we have, which is Let's Trek Bangalore. So just talking about Let's Trek Bangalore, we are a very small community where we actually want to promote responsible trekking practices. And that's why we don't allow anybody and everybody to join our group. We have this simple joining form which you need to fill in order to be part of this trek. Uh, Guys, can you be on mute, please? All of you? Yeah, thank you. Okay, and I usually document all the trails and the treks that I do, and they're all on solopassport.com. So that's my blog, and I actually document there. Okay, so I'll just go to the next one. So yeah, as I said, my first big trek was in 2009, and I did it. I did a trek called a Sarkundi Pass, which went to about 13,500 feet in Himachal Pradesh. Ever since, I've done more than 100 treks and hikes combined. And I have trekked in plenty of countries, and some of the countries you can see those small pins on the map itself. That's where all I have trekked so far, even though this list is not a complete list. So, yeah, that's about me. Okay, so let's talk about the actual subject, right? Why are we here? And does any of you know what acute mountaineering sickness is? Can anybody unmute and talk about, like, just tell me as to what this AMS is? Anybody?
Is it something like you're going in a car and you start feeling pukish, something similar on mountain when you pass
No.
through a elevation?
No, actually. Yeah, Brinda, tell me.
Yeah,
Hi,
hi
Raksha.
Raksha, hi Dinesh. So it's basically a kind of physical distress that we feel when we are trekking on the mountains. It our body tries to adjust both higher and lower oxygen pressure at the altitudes that we trek. So basically
Yeah,
that.
that's true, correct. And why do you think this happens? Is it because the oxygen is less at higher altitudes, or is it because, yeah, so is it only because of the physical exertion?
It could be sometimes both. It could be because of our appetite. It might cause, symptoms like vomiting, fatigue. It could be because of sleep disturbance as well. And yeah, altitude also matters because uh,
Body is not
The
used
it.
to it.
Okay.
primary
Yeah.
reason is the very thin oxygen level. As you keep going up above the mountain or ascending, the oxygen level drops. So it's basically about that thin air, and your lung capacity will be less, and it's difficult to adjust. So it's all about having adjusting with that thin air. So that's about primary
Okay.
reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, Brinda, go on.
Yeah, so basically, if you are in more than 2,500 meters above the sea level, that's when AMS usually hits hard. That becomes a
Correct.
high altitude. So as per yeah, it's seen here as well. But I was looking somewhere and I was thinking, what is that meters? But yeah, it's there in your PPT as well that we are seeing.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that is absolutely right, and that actually tests our lung capacity. So yeah.
Yeah. So how much do you think we have oxygen at wherever we are currently? How much percentage of air is oxygen? Can anybody tell? Other than, don't Google. Anyone? It's around 19 to 21%. Okay. So the thing is, even at higher altitudes, it's the same. The only thing is the particles are dispersed. So it takes more effort for us to breathe in that oxygen. Because at whatever 1,000 meters that we are right now, Bangalore is at that much, around 900, 1,000 meters. So at that level, the oxygen particles are a little closer. So it's easy for us to breathe. Whereas when we go higher at higher altitudes, it's the same amount of oxygen. The only thing is they are very dispersed. So our lungs have to put in more effort to actually take in that oxygen. Okay, so the body struggles to adjust to that reduced oxygen particles that are there. And that's why AMS happens. AMS is nothing but acute mountain sickness. So that is what it is. And it actually, as Brinda said, it happens when you go above 2,500 meters and above. So it is a reaction to the low oxygen levels on higher altitudes. So if you actually ignore AMS, it can lead to serious conditions like high altitude pulmonary edema or high altitude cerebral edema. The difference between the two is in pulmonary, the lungs actually get filled with liquid, whereas in haze, which is the cerebral edema, your brain gets filled with liquid. So they are both very serious conditions. So you have to never ever ignore even a slightest symptom of AMS. So I can give you an example of what happened when we were actually doing our Everest base camp. I had a slight headache just before getting on, and we were at I think 4,800 meters or something, and I had a headache. In spite of it, we decided to go ahead and go to the Everest base camp and come back. The issue was I had not taken any acclimatization days. So by the time I actually did the Everest base camp and came back to the campsite, there was liquid that was filled in my lungs. And obviously, I was throwing up the entire time. And there was that liquid which was extremely dangerous, which should not happen. It was my stupidity that I actually allowed that to happen, and it was not supposed to happen at all. So it is quite serious, and you should not ignore AMS when you're actually hiking. Okay. Yeah, I'll just go to the next screen. So yeah, why does AMS happen? Because air pressure drops as altitude increases, less oxygen available. Body needs time to acclimatize to reduce oxygen. I'm sure some of you have gone to Ladakh, right? So the first day you land in Leh, you actually take 1 day of rest. That is because you actually tell your body to acclimatize to the level that you're going in. So that is acclimatization. So you have to be at the level where the body gets used to that reduced oxygen. So you need to spend or take a rest day at whatever higher altitude you are, and then you start actually hiking. Okay. Ascending too fast doesn't give your body time to adjust. So other triggers like Brinda was saying, sleeping at a new altitude too quickly, no sleep, overexertion, dehydration. So they are all the reasons why AMS can happen. Okay. Yeah. Symptoms of AMS. So symptoms when you have like mild symptoms, headache, nausea, loss of appetite, dizziness, fatigue, difficulty sleeping. So all these are common AMS symptoms that you have. So I've had every time I actually go on a Himalayan trek, I've had a slight headache. So what you do in these cases is you actually check your other things like your vitals. So whether your oxygen is fine or your pulse rate is fine or not, and depending on that, you decide whether you've got AMS or not. So every trekking agency that you go to, you actually they have to check your vitals every morning, so that they ensure that you are fit and fine to actually go to a higher altitude, to the next higher altitude that you're going on. And severe AMS, as I said, vomiting, so which happened to me in Everest Base Camp. Again, that was completely my mistake because we had 2 days of acclimatization and I did not acclimatize. I did not rest. Vijaya and I were the ones who actually went for Everest Base Camp. We just kept walking because we felt all right. So we took it very lightly because nobody was there to tell us about this AMS at that point of time. We did it like back in 2018 and stuff. So yeah, now the knowledge is higher when compared to what it was at that time. So I had vomiting, and then there was mental confusion, difficulty walking, blue lips or fingernails, and shortness of breath, even at rest. So these are severe AMS. Okay. So how to avoid AMS? So there is one rule, okay, which is like climb high and sleep low. So even during Rupin Pass that I did recently in Himachal, we were actually taken every evening. Once we reach a campsite, every evening we were taken to another high altitude just as a walk, and then we would come back to the lower altitude at that campsite and sleep. So that is what usually you do, climb high and sleep low. Even when you actually go to Everest expedition itself, if you read about it, they always they stay in one campsite for like 2 weeks or weeks together, but they actually keep going up and coming down. So that way they're actually acclimatizing to that altitude that they are at. Okay. And take rest days to acclimatize every 1000 meters gain. So if you go to Everest Base Camp, there are 2 days. One is at Namche Bazaar and then the other one is at Tamboche or something. So they are the two places where you actually acclimatize and you stay there for a day doing nothing and you just rest up. So they are very important. That's what you do. And then stay hydrated. So you have to drink 3 to 4 liters a day. One of the things that was taught to me by one of the trek leads that I went recently with India Hikes was that he said, in order to drink this 3 to 4 liters, right? As soon as you get up, just drink half a liter of bottle. So that way you're done with half a liter, and then with your tea, black tea, and then coffee and those things, you will have another 1 liter. That way, in the morning itself, you're done with 1 liter, and rest of the day you just keep sipping and make sure you drink 2 to 3 liters more. So that way you are ensuring that you are hydrated throughout the day. And avoid alcohol and smoking, so there is no brainer there. And then listen to your body, so don't ignore symptoms. Even if you have a slight headache, talk to your trek lead or talk to your friends and tell them that this is what is happening. So do not do not ignore your symptoms for any cause, at any cost. And then use Diamox. So this Diamox, please take only after consulting your doctor. Diamox is the one which actually helps you acclimatize. What it does is it makes you pee a lot. So that way, because you're peeing a lot, you are actually drinking a lot of water as well. So you are hydrating anyway. But Diamox actually makes you pee a lot. So that is what Diamox tablet is. And you have to take the Diamox. Say, for example, you start taking Diamox at around 3000 meters. You have to stop only at 3000 meters. So you don't stop halfway because you're feeling better. So you always have to come back to the same altitude and then stop. Yeah, again, please take that only after consulting with your doctor. And what to do if you get AMS? So stop ascending immediately. Remember how I said in Everest Base Camp, we still continued and we finished Everest Base Camp and then came back. That was again, so do not ascend at all. So just stop ascending immediately and rest at same altitude or descend. So make sure, like if you are really severely impacted by AMS, descend, or if you can manage like with a headache or something, just rest at the same altitude. And drink fluids and eat light food. Take prescribed medication like how I said, Diamox or ibuprofen. and do not push through it. So AMS is not about willpower. It's very tempting, okay? That's the problem. So we are always being taught that you need to have hope, and you just see that there is that destination which is like around maybe 300 meters away, and you want to do it. But I mean, there is a saying, "Jaan hai to jahan hai." So make sure, please do not take high risk, and make sure you just don't push it through it. And in severe cases, descend at least 500 to 1000 meters immediately and seek medical help. Yeah, okay, 1 second, sorry. Yeah, so key takeaways from this is AMS can affect anyone, even the fittest people. So preparation, slow pace, and awareness are the key to actually tackle AMS, and know when to turn back. The mountains will always be there, and summit safety is always greater than summit. So please do not take any kind of risk when it comes to AMS, because it can be fatal and it can be life threatening. And we have seen instances. So when I started my Sarkundi Pass trek, which was in 2009, we had heard stories about one of the uncles who was from the railways who had passed away because of higher altitude. Nobody explained to us what AMS was back then. Now I understand it was because of AMS, because usually we do not have that awareness and knowledge, and we think that हाँ हो सकता है यार, चल जाएगा, it's okay, I'll be all right, my body will be fine. वो सब we always tell that, and we try to continue because we've always been taught never to give up and to always have hope. But in the mountains, it's always the other case. If you have a slight sign or any kind of symptom, do not proceed. Just stay there or come back down, and always go with a trusted agency which will actually take care of you when you're doing such high altitude treks. So yeah, that is what the key takeaways are. And I would love if anybody has any questions or anything that you would want to ask. No questions? Or was I that clear?
No questions, but just stressing on the point you mentioned, go with a reputed agency or a company, and always listen to the guide or porters or whoever is managing your trek. So they know what happens, they are experienced, they have done a lot of walks over there, and always listen and trust them, so they can take you and they can keep you safe in those conditions. So that's the one of the key takeaways as well for managing the AMS and the high altitude hikes.
Yes, correct. And do you want to share what happened with the porter that who came with us?
Oh, it was scary one. There was a young guy whom we hired in a through a company with a porter and a guide. So not sure, first of all, not sure why they hired that young guy. He was probably 20 or not even 20, 22, 23 or something like that. And he was carrying all our stuff, like big backpacks and everything. And at the seventh day or sixth day, just before the base camp night, he was so sick, he threw up, he was not having sleep, and it was like very scary situation. And luckily, uh, on time we had a chopper airlifted to Lukla, back in Lukla hospital, and he got treated. So the primary reason what we believe happened was he was not experienced in going through that high altitude zone, or he was very young and not prepared for managing that risky hike, and that's why it happened. And it was really scary. It opened our eyes and made sure that we need to prepare and we need to go with the proper company who knows what happens in that situation, how to manage. And even was our guide was to be honest, even that guide was clueless. He was confused what to do, how to manage that. And then we had to step up, and Raksha had to come up with some solution of calling the medical help and airlifting that guy and treating him. So that was the thing. So the key takeaway again on this one is just go with the proper company and how they manage the situation and how they take care of their staff and even us during that high altitude hikes. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Vijay. So yeah, that's true. So what Vijay and I did was we hired a local trekking agency from Kathmandu. Uh, I mean, they were fine when they were talking to us. It was, when I say local, it was not actually cheap, but in spite of it, they were fine with us when they were actually trying to sell this package. But when we reached Lukla, so they hired a local porter and a local guide who was in Lukla actually. Lukla was already at a higher altitude, and we assumed that they were accustomed or acclimatized to the higher altitudes. So this porter guy, he came and with us, and he actually walked with me without the luggage to Everest Base Camp because I already had got impacted by a headache, and he just walked without any luggage or anything. And then he came back, and unfortunately, he fell sick, so sick that his oxygen level went to 20s, and the trekking agency would not take care of him. They were planning to actually take him manually to the lower altitude from the higher altitude, which I think we were at 4,800 meters or something. They were lifting him, and they were going like they were just walking with him. So, and there was no emergency chopper which was arranged or anything. Then me and Vijay, we both had to talk to the trekking agency guy and actually make up for the cost that was happening, and we arranged for the emergency chopper. And when he was airlifted to the Lukla hospital, the hospital doctor, they actually told us that he was in emergency for 8 hours, and he was in a very serious condition. He became better probably because he was just 20 or 21. Otherwise, it could have been very fatal, and he could have died because of this AMS. So yeah, just stressing on that it is quite dangerous. So please make sure that when you're going on high altitudes, one, you take a very good trekking agency. So India Hikes is the number one agency for Himalayan treks in India. So I really trust them. So I really say that India Hikes should be the one which you should be going, especially for safety. And then the second one is listen to your trek lead. Do not use your brains or any of the knowledge that you have, because like even though I have done quite a lot of treks in the Himalayas, but still I'm not an expert, and I cannot manage people who I can do these expeditions or go to higher altitudes. So definitely listen to your trek guides because they know the best, especially the locals. When they say do this, just blindly do it. And then the third thing is keep hydrating, because water is the one which is going to save you in case of AMS. And yeah, so these are the things. And if you actually prepare well, you won't get AMS. I stopped taking Diamox. Maybe I took Diamox in one or two treks when I started initially. I have completely stopped taking Diamox, and I've not had AMS, touch wood, for all the treks that I have done. So just listen to your trek lead and listen to your body as well. Any small symptom, talk to your trek lead and they'll advise you what to do. Okay. So
So
anyone
Raksha,
else? Yeah,
question here.
sure.
Since we don't have that kind of a weather condition and the kind of altitude, how do we actually prepare for such treks? If we really have
Yeah,
to go
so
on a, it's a bit I know tricky question. We'll have to do small
yeah,
treks like value of, yeah, something like that, and then go for the higher ones, or how exactly do we train ourselves that we don't depend on Diamox, or we don't get
correct.
sick, or we enjoy like can come back safe.
Yes,
So
yeah. So that's a very good
uh,
question,
how
Vrinda.
how
Sorry?
yeah, yeah, thank you, yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay. So the thing is, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to tell this. I don't know if Vijay will be happy, but Vijay and I are actually preparing for Kilimanjaro, right? So in Australia, the highest mountain is 2,338 meters, which is like useless. So it's of no use because we are talking about Kilimanjaro, which is like 19,000 feet or something. So the thing is, what you have is there are these fitness centers which actually have simulations for higher altitudes. In Bangalore, there is one in HSR. So you can find these fitness centers which actually create that kind of environment which will simulate these higher altitudes. Okay, so that is one of the ways to prepare for higher altitude expeditions itself. But if not that, as you said, you asked the question and you gave the answer as well. So you can go for lower altitudes and then start small. So you can go for
Yeah.
Valley of Flowers and those kind of small, easy Himalayan treks. And then you get into a rhythm of then moving from easy to moderate, moderate to difficult. So that will
Oh,
actually help you. And yeah, as I said, please do not take Dimox. Go there,
yeah.
see how your body reacts to these kind of Himalayan treks. And then you can actually, you can then work on your body to acclimatize these higher altitudes. And coming to fitness, yeah, as you said, you have to do the hikes around wherever you are, and also you have to run, you have other fitness regime and stuff, so you make sure that your stamina is at least increased, so that
Yeah.
way you don't have to worry about two things when you're on high altitude, right? Your stamina and AMS. So if your stamina
Right.
is taken care, you can only take care of your AMS thing, and that you will gradually you'll develop as and when you keep going back to Himalayas more, you do more treks, your body starts realizing that this is common. You will keep coming on treks, and this is how I need to behave. And
Yeah.
so AMS can happen to anybody. Does not matter like if you have done one Himalayan trek, the second Himalayan trek, you're fine. No, that's not the way it works. It can happen to the second trek as well. So if you don't take those precautions of hydrating and good sleep and those kind of things, you will actually be impacted. So yeah, you just take precautions and you'll be fine. Okay.
Perfect.
Does that
Thanks, Raksha.
answer,
Yeah.
Brinda?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Anyone else?
We can take another one or two questions.
So who all here have done Himalayan treks? Can you just drop on the chat? Brinda has done. Which one have you done, Brinda?
EBS.
Everest Base Camp?
Yeah, sorry, EBC.
Yeah, EBC.
Yeah,
Okay.
EB.
Yeah, okay. Cool. Anyone else who has done? Come on, guys. Vinay, Rishabh, there are so many of you. Ajay.
Savita says she's done Tungnath, Chandrashila, and planning EBC.
Oh, nice. Yeah. You're planning EBC?
Savita?
Yes, I'm planning in this October. So I just
Okay,
wanted some
nice.
inputs on AMS. So I am into fitness, running, and gym and all that. So already started my fitness regime for EBC, but that's what
Okay.
this AMS is a little scary. So that's why I just wanted some inputs on it. That's all.
Yeah. Sure, yeah. So yeah, it's not that bad. Just make sure that you do these things. Like,
Yes,
how to avoid
the
AMS.
hydration
That's
part.
what you do.
Yes. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And have
Yeah,
fun.
no
All the
problem.
best.
Yeah,
Thank
all
you
the
so
best for
much.
your EBC.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. So yeah, I think that's all, no? Dinesh, if
Yes,
there's
Raksha.
nothing else.
Vinay says he has done Sar Pass. Ajay
Oh,
says he's
nice.
done Jalori Pass, Himachal.
Jalori Pass. Okay. So there were two kind of people when I was doing my Sarkundi Pass. Some people would do Sarkundi Pass and some people would do Sarpass in 2009. So yeah, because Sarpass is a little higher than Sarkundi Pass, and it was my first trek, so we went for Sarkundi Pass, which was 13 and a half. I think it was a 13,800 or 900, right? Sarpass.
Yeah, it was 13,800.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, then nothing else, Dinesh?
Sounds good. Any questions, folks? We can take one last question. And yes, you can also reach out to us on the group or ping Raksha if you have any questions. But yes, we can take one more if you have anything, or we could call it an evening.
Yes, and thank you for joining in actually on a Saturday evening. Hope this was helpful. And we'll see you guys on our next Trek Talk, which will happen once in 2 months. And we also have Trek meetups that happen once in 2 months. So the next one will be a Trek meetup. And if you want to join, and if you're not part of the main group, Let's Trek group, please message, or we'll just drop the joining form on the group, today's group. You can just fill that and let us know, and we can add you to the main group. So something we can actually do. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank
And
you.
yes, Raksha,
Cool.
super
Thanks,
insightful.
everyone. Good night.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Raksha, Dinesh.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much.